Okay, this is heat 3. So after heat 3, we take our new grid positions. So in heat 3, we take our new grid positions. So I'm now in, I think, 7th or 8th, because I was 7th in the first race and 6th in the second, so I ended up in 8th somehow. So a little bit further back, but this is not too bad, and I'm on the outside again. So let's see how I go at the start with this new engine fix. Yeah, it's not too bad. Losing a little bit, but much, much better than it was before. So taking a nice position around the outside. Oh, that's right. This is where I tried to go around the outside of Darren Formosa, but just a little bit too tight there, so I had to back off. But right up behind him here. And again, I don't really have a lot of confidence into that corner. I wasn't close enough to have a go, but I do tend to kind of brake a little bit early there when I'm behind someone. Anyway, it's pretty much following here. There's not much you can do unless you can get a real... Oh, there we go. I went over the curb. That was a silly thing to go. And then Steve Lowison gets past me, but fortunately, he had to take a tight line, and I got the momentum up the hill and managed to get it straight back again. So apart from losing a second to the other guys, there we go, putting the flap up so that the engine temperature will now stabilize around about 55 degrees. So that keeps it keeps it working at the top of the hill really well. So we've lost a little bit of time, but I think Darren Formosa has gotten ahead of John Pringle here. Oh, getting really leery there. So just trying to see what I can do to catch up. Again, I'm still running a 12:85 ratio on the gearing. So in hindsight, this is in heat 3, but in heat 4 I realized that I really need to probably go to something with a little bit more straight line speed so that I can actually make some passes. But we'll see how we go. First of all, I've got to catch them. So there we go, catching up a little bit because there's some stuff going on. Yeah, it's John Pringle in front of me and Darren Formosa, and I think ahead of him is actually Darren Smith, who I was following in the last race. So I think of these three, probably Darren Formosa's the fastest. He's come from the back of the grid basically, so he's really put in a lot of work. But it's very close, like they're all very similar. But yeah, just pegging them up, coming up the hill, going through the last corner much better than before. That's much, much better. So it's really, with the flap open, it's really getting the proper revs that it needs there and not flipping out too much. And I've also found that I'm sliding a lot on the exit at the moment. We've still got a little bit of a bend in the chassis that the manufacturer was not able to fix. So since then, since my accident of last month, I've noticed that it's not quite handling the way it was, but we're going to try and figure it out over Christmas. Hopefully not having to buy a new chassis. I went really wide at that corner, and it was the arse was hanging out, but managed to pick it up, and I didn't lose too much time. Really not able to catch up here, though. I need something to happen, I think, to bring me back into play. There we go. So Darren's finally overtaking the other Darren Smith. And that's helped me a little bit. See how we go into this corner. There we go. Starting to catch up now. Losing a little bit on the exit. But now that they're squabbling, that'll give me an opportunity to close right up. A little bit closer. And I think John Pringle could probably go a little bit faster than this as well. He did qualify second on the grid for the first heat, but obviously had some issues. And so now it's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm in 6th, I think, at this stage. Yeah, the engine's not too bad this time. I think the jetting was pretty bang on. Well, look at that. Really closing up under brakes. And you can see Darren Formosa's getting away from Darren Smith a little bit. And John Pringle's pretty much just holding station behind. And I know with the current gear ratio settings that I'm running, it's going to be difficult for me to get him on the straight. So my only opportunity is to do some sort of switchback, like coming up into here, or coming out of a corner somewhere, because I tend to make most of my passes that way with the straight line speed that I have. And again, I didn't have a very good exit there, so lost a little bit on the straight. Really getting in nice and close there at that corner. John's also probably going to be quite wary, I think, because last month he had an accident on that corner. So it's a very difficult corner to overtake on. Oh, there we go. There we go. So I start to go wide because I saw him going on the inside, and that compromised his run, and I managed to get through the inside in the final corner. So that was a huge relief. And I've only got to survive for 1 month. One more lap. There we go. Darren Smith is squiggly at the end of the straight again. Always makes me nervous, but he's been keeping it under control, so it's totally fine. Yeah, really gaining on him on that corner, I think. But then again, possibly also losing it on the exit as well, which isn't good. Yeah, you don't want to go too fast into the corner that you're losing it on the exit. Oh, gaining a little bit. There we go, but I think it's just not going to be enough time because that is the last lap. So not too bad. At least I got one position back from John there, so that was good.